Hey there, friends. A quick update on the Colorado Springs shooting that happened at the Club Q nightclub, a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Just a quick update from yesterday's video that it appeared that 5 people were killed and 18 were injured. Now it seems that 5 were killed and as many as 25 may have been injured. Let's not forget that a lot of times the injuries occur when people are stampeding to get out of a particular place. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they were shot. In fact, I saw an unconfirmed report that of the 25 who were injured, that 18 had been shot. That is an unconfirmed report. It is from a news outlet, but again, it's very much unconfirmed by law enforcement or investigators on the scene. I'd like to also mention that the suspected shooter, who is 22 years old, was actually in custody. He, again, was apprehended by 2 of the people inside the club, which again goes to show you that you need to be prepared to defend yourself, not to rely on law enforcement or anyone else to protect you. You, in fact, should take that into your own hands. And I commend the people at the club who realized that our safety is our responsibility, and they took it into their own hands to disarm the person. There are mixed reports right now. Some say that 2 guns were at the scene. Some say that a long gun was used at the scene. Of course, that fits a narrative that has been trying to be written all along. So I don't put much emphasis on that until I see a confirmed report on that, because I do believe that that is more than just nothing more than just a seed that's planted to try to get people to think. Let's not forget the American people in many cases are kind of stupid, and you feed them something at the very beginning, they will believe it, and they will never correct themselves in their own minds to try to find out what the actual story was. So usually you can throw something out there first, and they're going to run with that. In fact, the New York Times even said that it appears that an AR-15 style weapon was used, again, to further that agenda of hate towards a modern sporting rifle that most people use for self-defense anyway. I would also like to point out that there's word that one of the witnesses immediately said that the way the gunman was apprehended was that one of the 2 men who confronted him took, and I quote, a handgun from him and hit him in the head with it. So there are conflicting reports versus witnesses, police, all that. But again, a local witness said that the handgun was taken from the shooter, and that's how they apprehended him, by hitting him with it, I assume in the head or whatever. They apprehended the guy. So again, very, very conflicting reports on this. To go along with furthering some of the agenda, it's also reported that the guy was wearing body armor. Again, you might remember that supposedly something that is intended to protect us and is, that I know of, used in maybe 2, possibly 3 crimes that we know of. They are trying to vehemently outlaw body armor. For some reason that is a negative thing, even though body armor is intended to protect you. It's not like only criminals have body armor. So look for that to maybe get pushed a little bit more now, because now they're able to pad some numbers and say that, ooh, look, body armor is used in another crime, even though it had nothing to do with this crime and did not protect the person in the crime. Obviously, he was apprehended after only 2 minutes. So, but look for that little nugget to be spread to be able to pass some things on their own agenda, as they intend to do in many cases like this. Another thing that I found a little interesting is that this suspect was spoken to about a year ago in regards to a bomb threat, his own bomb threat. It appears that he had made a bomb, a homemade bomb himself, and threatened to blow people up, and law enforcement did in fact come talk to him about it. I don't know if he was taken in custody or anything about that. I don't think he was. Certainly nothing went to the next level at that point. No charges were pressed against him. There were no court dates or anything like that. Also, a quick reminder that Colorado does in fact have a red flag gun law. They can in fact confiscate your weapons unconstitutionally if somebody rats you out or says that you might be a threat to yourself or somebody else. And this guy actually had a bomb threat a year ago, and it appears that he slid under the radar of their red flag gun law, which, oddly enough, I believe their red flag gun laws have been used in 500 and something cases already in Colorado, but this guy managed to slip through. I would imagine that a lot of the other cases were probably erroneous cases, as is going to be the case in many times with these red flag gun laws. But it seems that the one thing it was meant to thwart it did not in this case, and we have 5 people dead. I'm no supporter of red flag gun laws. I think they're BS, and I think just like you see in this case, they're ineffective, and all they do is hurt the innocent people, and the criminals always manage to slide through and do everything they want to do. Again, I will say this time and time again on red flag gun laws. If this person was intended to kill people, he intended to do that. And regardless of what kind of little cool, neat, trendy law you might pass, this guy is still going to find a way to kill people with a firearm that he obtains illegally if you take his guns from him or whatever reason. So again, very ineffective red flag gun laws, and this is a perfect example of that. Now, in many cases, we see instances like this where they exploit a certain detail of the crime or of the tragedy. And this is clearly a tragedy. I don't want anybody to think that I'm implying that it's not. My point is that the White House wasted no time to try to make this a gay thing. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that there's some gay stuff that happened with this suspect, probably like the Pulse nightclub shooting. If you'll remember the Pulse nightclub shooting, a lot of things they don't come talk to you about. They don't want you to know the actual truths about it. I wrote about it in my book, How to Make a Monster. This suspect in the Pulse nightclub shooting was a gay man, but he was also Islamic. So his dad and his culture came down on him, frowned on him, and really ostracized him because he partook in some gay stuff. Even though he was married, he partook in some gay stuff, and his community and his culture and his father more specifically frowned on him, and he went in there lashing out against the gay community, himself being a gay man. I would be willing to bet you're going to find some of the same stuff that happened here. They're going to paint this as, oh, this is a Trump guy. This is a far-right guy. A far-right guy. I love the term far-right. It absolutely blows my mind and cracks me up. So you're going to see more of that kind of stuff since they have a lot of things they want. He had a gun, and there were gay people here. Got to be far-right, right? Got to be a MAGA guy. Got to be a MAGA guy. But Joe Biden wasted no time, more to my point, coming out and trying to trumpet the cause of gay people, even though there is no spike in any kind of crime towards gay people. In fact, the gay community is probably more embraced worldwide right now than they ever have been. There's not the kind of animosity towards the gay community, any more of a spike than there ever has been before, and that goes for any other community out there too. Joe Biden made comments that there's some things out there that are happening with the gay community in terms of violence. He says, while no motive in this attack is yet clear, which he's assuming there's a motive, we know that the LGBTQ community has been subjected to horrific hate violence in recent years. Gun violence continues to have a devastating and particular impact on LGBTQ communities across our nation, and threats of violence are increasing. That's not true. That is a lie. Joe Biden is lying to you. Again, I go back to the American people in many cases are stupid, and the President of the United States can actually tell you something. You will think, why would he lie to me? He lies all the time. This is a lie. There is no spike in violence against that community. Is there a spike in violence overall? Absolutely there is. And this community is subjected to it just like every other community. So you see everybody's numbers are going up. There's no independent spike of the LGBTQ, ABCD, I don't know. There's so many letters and symbols that they're adding to this. The gay community. There's no spike in the gay community that's different than the spike in everybody else's crime across their own communities, whether it be straight, black, white, it doesn't matter, Asian. All communities are seeing a spike in crime, not just the gay community. So don't fall for this. There is no spike. This just means that they're trying to pass some new legislation or fight off legislation. Let's not forget that they're wanting to pass I believe it's a gay rights for marriage. I don't know what the specific thing is, but it's a gay rights marriage act or something like that. They're wanting to pass that. So this is perfect for Biden and them to try to get people to be sympathetic to a particular specific group that they're wanting to pass a law on. And more specifically, they also are wanting to fight back against legislation where we're wanting to keep drag queens, the gay community from having drag shows to children. Look, you say what you want. You have your little drag shows and all that. I don't care about that. I'm not opposed to what you do with your own group. I go out shooting with my friends. You shouldn't care what I do when I go out shooting guns with my friends, right? I don't care what little things you decide you want to do with your friends and your little community. But you know what I don't do? I don't go drinking beer around a bunch of kids to show them that it's cool and it's okay to drink beer. Do I drink beer? Of course I do. But I don't try to promote that to children to get them to accept that. Because if they want to drink beer or alcohol of any kind, once they become of age and they can make their own determination, they're going to decide on their own. They don't need me promoting them at a very young age to, hey, drinking beer is cool. Drinking beer is cool. It's part of my lifestyle. You should do it. So the drag community does not need access to those same children to teach them how cool drag shows are. When those children become of age, if they choose they want to go to a drag show, more power to them. But that's their choice. It's not your choice to try to start forming and grooming these children at a very young age to like the things that you like, whether you think they're right or they're wrong.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.